Morrison Media Group. Theme: Media's role in shaping social change, addressing inequities, and empowering voices. Chairman Alex Ndudi Enebele, FSM, President, Institute of Strategic Management of Nigeria, Chartered. Keynote speaker, Professor Armstrong Idachaba, Professor of Media and Broadcasting Communication. Panelist, Professor Chris Ochonogo, Immediate Past Head of Department, Journalism and Media Studies, University of Port Harcourt. Dr. Ijoma Tobosia, Secretary, NUJ, River State. Dr. Sarah Joe, University Orator and Associate Dean, Faculty of Communication and Media, River State University, Port Harcourt. Dr. Ibiere Koki, Ignatius Aju University of Education, Rumolomini, Port Harcourt. Chief Host, Dr. Chinyere Igwe, Esquire, Chairman, Morrison Group. Date: Tuesday, 10th March 2026. Venue: Gate Place Hotel, Kilometer 5, East West Road, adjacent Obirikwere Flyover, Rumosi, Port Harcourt. Time: 10 a.m. For more information, please call Kainde Paul Obofade 081 063 41777 or Samuel Ajinwo at 090 454 00744. Signed,
Good morning and welcome to Atlantic Blowout. Blowout is a syndicated live program of the network featuring chit-chatting and conversation on special interest topics, news, events and stories through correspondence reports, experts' opinions and stakeholders' analysis. Today we'll be looking at these stories. Lagos State, Deputy Governor warns against over-pampering of children. In Borno State, one officer killed as military repels ISWAP assaults. We will deliver state police by year end, and this is coming from the Federal Senate. 2027 elections, INEC chair assures of best elections yet. Stop politics, Nigerians are dying, and this is from Peter Obi. Politicians are not talking policy. At Bagoba, we are open for advert placements, bookings and commercials. You can also connect with us at all our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, X, Atlantic TV Nets. You can also watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. I'm going for a short commercial break, and when we return, I will introduce my guest for today. Please keep staying tuned in. All right, welcome back. Joining me today on this side of the table is a regular face and also one of our faves. He's none other than Mr. George Deima, a public affairs analyst. Good morning, Mr. Deima.
Good morning, and it's a lovely day, and it's good to be here.
I know, right? Happy New Month as well.
Happy New Month. It's a wonderful month, the month of March. Yeah.
Yes.
How fast time is running so fast.
Tell me about it. We thank God for His mercies and grace always.
Yes.
All right, let's get into today's details. Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Dr. Obafemi Hamzat, has advised parents against over-pampering their children without discipline, warning that it could spell disaster for families and society. Hamzat gave the advice at the 6th annual Ramadan lecture and prayer for the late Oba Muftau Hamzat, organized by the Ifako Ijaye Muslim community in Ogba, Lagos. He said children should be loved, supported and encouraged, but such care must be balanced with responsibility, discipline and value-based upbringing. According to him, growing overindulgence is contributing to behavioral challenges among young people and reflects wider concerns in today's society. The Deputy Governor stressed that parents must be intentional about raising their children properly. That's a good statement. Mr. Deima.
Yeah.
I actually do not fault him for making such statements. One would have asked, is this even important for the Deputy Governor of Lagos State to be talking about? But looking at the trajectory of society today, most parents feel that disciplining their children is a form of either assault or abuse. So they've taken gentle parenting to a different level, whereby kids are allowed to do whatever they want to do without being disciplined or being taught the value of responsibility and all that comes with it as a grown-up person in society. What do you have to say concerning this statement by the Deputy Governor of Lagos State?
Well, discipline is a structure, and discipline is very important in building your life. Like, your life is going to be miserable if you're not disciplined. And yes, it's important that you love your children. There are some parents that abuse their children. I have been involved in a lot of domestic violence awareness program for over a decade, I think for close to 20 years. And I've seen cases of parents that flog their kids, torture them, a little child, in the name of discipline, and you see the child's skin is going to be peeled with cane. When I was in secondary school, we had a teacher like that. His nickname is Peel Your Skin. If he flogs you, you must have a peel in your skin. You must be injured. Otherwise, it's not the one that flogged you. Discipline is important. There should be a balance. You should love your children. You should also discipline them. One of the things I have observed over the years is that many parents, especially the ones that grew up in tough backgrounds, came from poor families, they will say, oh, my child will not suffer what I suffered. But that statement is not complete. That statement is lacking vitamins. Your child should not suffer what you suffered, but your child should learn, so that the child is not going to repeat repeat or run around the cycle. Why is it important that your child should not suffer what you suffered? So you pamper the child. Anytime the child asks you, you want to provide for the child. You want to be in the good books of your child. You want to be that loving, caring parent, which you should be. You should be loving. You should be caring. You should be kind. You should be understanding. But you should be disciplined too. You should be firm. It's very important that you are disciplined and you are firm. That sometimes you say no. Imagine a child, you take the child to a shopping mall and the child says, Dad, I want chocolate. You want the best for your child. Doesn't mean you keep buying your child chocolates. You will soon visit a dentist. At the end of the day, the child might start suffering from some health issues because you have failed to discipline the child. So understand what discipline is and balance it with love. Even when you want to correct the child, there are times you should be firm. When it's no, no. When it's yes, yes. So many parents have failed. You see a child that is in primary school with an expensive gadget. Yes, you want your child to be tech savvy. You want your child to be, you want to teach your child tech from an early age, but there should be control. There should be discipline. There should be a structure. There should be monitoring. Don't just leave a device with your child. There's a lot happening. Social media is a world of its own. If you walk the streets of social media, there are many houses the child could branch, and there is a lot that happens on social media because attention is expensive, attention is costly, and those that are in marketing understand the potence and power of attention, because if they get your attention, they get your pocket. And no one is attention neutral. It's either your attention is on something good or your attention is on something negative. And as children are, you look at children are always, they always need attention. They always, they have not developed to a point where they can really make decisions, rational decisions for themselves. They are in the process. And so at that stage in their life, you need to be careful to ensure that they are not distracted. There's a lot of distractions. When I was teaching in the school, I do tell my students that distraction make you lose your attention. And one of the greatest enemies to your academic growth and success and excellence is distraction. If you are distracted, no matter what the teacher is saying, you're not going to get it. No matter what the professor is professing, what the professor is teaching and explaining, whatever the concept is, whatever the practical is, you will not get it because you are distracted. There is D-I-S before attracted. So distraction make you lose your attraction and make you lose your focus, and you lose sight of what you should behold. So discipline is important. You see children, adults are talking, they're interrupting. When we were growing up as children, as young kids, when you see when your parents, when a visitor come to the house and your mom is sitting down to have a conversation with an adult, with a visitor, you excuse them. You don't need to be told, because that is how a well-raised child understand that you don't sit down, cross your legs, and two adults are talking. But these days you see it in many families. You are pressing your phone, you are having a conversation with your dad, and you are pressing your phone. No, you don't do that. You drop your phone, you pay attention, you listen to your dad. You are not doing, your attention is not divided. You are paying rapt attention to what your dad is saying. But these days you don't have it. So discipline, anything you want to do in life, if you really want to achieve success in life, you must be disciplined. Discipline has to do with your even your eating habits, right? There are some children that, yes, you might come from a poor background or from a home where there are a lot of financial challenges, but even some of us that grew up in homes that they were not too very rich or very financially buoyant, we were raised with a value system. There was a structure of discipline. You go out there, because you have been well raised at home, you see other people eating turkey and chicken laps, you don't go and start acting like you're the hungriest child in the world because you are well raised. But there are some kids, even when they are eating at home, when they go to their neighbor's house and maybe they are cooking stew, the aroma was just so powerful that they will ask them, have you eaten? No, ma. But they've eaten at home. That child is not disciplined, right? And that's how children fall into stealing, and that's how they start to steal.
And then lying as well.
And lying as well, right? And when discipline is not just a parent saying, oh, my child, you must be disciplined. It's what you live out. Discipline is a live out experience. It's not just a talking experience. It is a live out experience. As a father, as a mother, as someone that people are looking up to, your children want to see more of your action to what you tell them. If you tell your child, okay, we are not doing night eating, all our eating stops by 8 p.m., you shouldn't be crawling into the kitchen by 10 p.m. to look for food. The children are looking up to you, so that's part of discipline. If you say, children, switch off your phones, so time, let's go study, they want to see you do practical some of those things, right? If you want to study with them, right? Yeah, our children, they can't do you shouldn't do everything they should do, but you should do what they can learn from.
True.
So discipline is very important. It's an important element in the society.
Yeah. We live in a society where it's practically become very nuclear. You know, in the past, we had a communal way of raising children, a communal way of building a family. If a neighbor should see your child misbehaving, they could intervene and then either discipline the child or talk to the child, or sometimes even they take them home and then report that child to the parents. But now we live in a very privatized society where everybody is trying to keep the business of the family within, you know. They do not want anybody, the neighbor, whatever, interfering in how they raise their children. Would you say it has also gone a long way to attribute to the moral decadence we have now in society, where children will be misbehaving and then adults will be saying, that's not my child, let me mind my business. You know, has that contributed to the immorality we are experiencing today in society?
I think there are many factors responsible for the immoral state of our society and our world today. When you look at social media influence, when you look at adopting cultures, Western cultures that are not in line with our value system. For example, if you observe, if you walk the street, it's difficult to see at least one out of every 3 guys have piercing, have earrings. I grew up in the 90s, and I can tell you that for the number of years I've lived on this planet Earth, the past 15 years, you can discover that you will not, it's not so common that you see young guys all putting on earrings. But because of the Western influence, everybody wants to look like a rap star, a California kid that have not even traveled to California, a Chicago music rap star, or a guy from New York. Everybody wants to look so Western. It's a fashion statement when you have a piercing. And it becomes a crazy thing that you see some guys, not just one piercing, all their nose there is piercing, their ears piercing, every part of their body is pierced. And you ask them one simple question: wait a minute, why are you piercing yourself to death, for goodness sake? The piercing doesn't make you more handsome, doesn't make you more responsible. If you come to my office, you want to apply for a job and you're all pierced, I can give you some job in some creative sense. Maybe you want to be some creative person and maybe in fashion. I can give you a job as in some sensitive position to represent the organization, because this thing, when we talk about discipline, it has a lot to do with our social composure, like your mental composure. It has a lot to do with your view of life. It has a lot to do with the kind of structured thinking you have. Now, for example, I'll give you another example. Recently, I was walking the street, not even once, not many times. I saw a lady. She was practically naked. Like, she was naked. Like, when I mean she was naked, it's so very disheartening to talk about it. And the first question, everybody, in fact, she walked past me, and there were some people, tricyclists and some people there. It's a major road. And immediately she passed, all eyes. She pulled the attraction of everyone on that street. And people were spitting, some were talking, and some people were saying, is she coming out from a home? Because she was all naked. Like, there was nothing. What she was wearing was just a see-through. Everything was revealed. It was so disheartening to see. The question is discipline we're talking about. Is she coming out from a home? Is she coming out from a family? Is she listening to her parents? Does she have parental upbringing? You can't talk about discipline without fatherhood. Many homes today, there is an absence of fathers, and it's affecting the young generation. It's affecting children. Fatherhood, real men, fatherhood. A wise man once said that tough times creates strong men, and strong men creates weak men. When you look at the society, you look at the absence of fatherhood in the home. And there are some, in some homes there are men, there are fathers, but these men are absent. They are emotionally absent. Being a man is not just about your physique alone. It has to do with your responsibility as a man. And women are, if you look, I'm very close to my mom. Women, most mothers are very close to their sons, and most fathers are distant from their sons. But the men should play a very significant role, as they should, because as a man in the house, there are times when you should stand firm and discipline the child. The love of the mother can be like, oh, let's leave him, it's my son, leave him, you don't need to flog him, he's coming home late, he'll start hanging around with bad boys, he starts smoking and involved in some bad habits. But because the mom wants to protect the child, she'll be like, oh, let's leave him, it's a boy, it's a teenager, he's just growing up, just let him be. But the child is getting bad, the child is being indoctrinated or brainwashed or being conditioned into some vices, because the vices of bad gangs are conditioning his lifestyle. He's being conditioned into some addiction and some bad habits. But there's no fatherhood. In my case, my mom, she's even, I feel she's even more disciplined than my mom is very firm. She's going to flog you. She will make sure she properly discipline you. She doesn't care whether you're crying or what, but she will tell you that you must be disciplined because it's important for your life.
Okay. It's important for the life and upbringing of a child, discipline. Let's move on quickly to our next story. Troops of the Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hadin Kai have repelled coordinated attacks by Boko Haram ISWAP fighters on forward operating bases in Miyanti, Gijigana and Gajiram communities of Borno State. The attacks, which occurred between late February 28th and the early hours of March 1st, 2026, targeted military positions under Sector 2 of Operation Hadin Kai. In a statement, the Media Information Officer, Lieutenant Colonel Sani Uba, said troops fought the assault and inflicted casualties on the attackers. According to the statement, forward operating base FOB Miyanti in Bama local government area came under heavy attack by a large number of insurgents. Troops reportedly held their ground despite intense gunfire, while reinforcements navigated ambushes and improvised explosive devices, IEDs, to repel the attackers. Realistically, Mr. Dama, would you say that it is possible for us to achieve peace in Northern State, especially in Borno, where, I mean, my heart bleeds for the people of Borno. I can't even imagine living in that area at this point in time. We've been hearing attacks in different parts of the country, the northern part as well. But it seems Borno is a red zone. It's where all these bandits and what's not terrorists are always targeted. Do you see relative peace over there, or do you think that we should do more in strengthening the security of those areas, because they are the main targets when it comes to attacking vulnerable communities in the northern parts of Nigeria?
Thank you very much. I have a master's degree in peace, conflict, and security studies, and if you want to talk about peace, it's not just the absence of war. There's a lot of factors, whether it's positive peace or negative peace. In the case of the northeast and northern Nigeria as a geopolitical zone, as an entity, you will say that achieving peace will require quite a lot. There's a lot that must be put in to achieve peace. And if we want to build a system that mitigates, reduces, and checkmates these bad elements in our society, like early warning signals, we must build a security structure that is collaborative and teamwork. The collaboration will involve all the security agencies. Some will ask, are they not collaborating now? Well, there needs to be more collaborative measures, intense sharing. But one of the monsters that has become an impediment to the security of Nigeria and Nigerians is impunity. When you have bandits, kidnappers, terrorists, or whatever name you, or categorization you want to categorize them, boldly make videos where they are kidnapping people. These people are using communication gadgets. We are in a 21st century society where we have cyber warfare, we have biological threats, we have chemical threats, we have the information warfare, we have threats within the internet space, the cyber space. You don't just fight security issues with just guns and bullets. Look at the Israelis, for example. It's just a small nation, but they are respected all over the world because they have advanced security structure. They tap into technology, they tap into intelligence, they tap into a lot of factors are put in place to address the threats that they face on a daily basis. The security threats in Nigeria can be addressed. Yes, you cannot completely eliminate all the security threats because of the dynamic nature of the security threats, because of the evolving nature of the security threats, but you can put in place structures and systems that can help track these threats and deal with them before they escalate and consume the lives of innocent Nigerians. For example, recently I saw a video circulating on the social media space of a young corps member that was kidnapped and was beaten, was physically assaulted. Those guys using those phones, why are they not tracked? Why are they not prosecuted? If Nigerians can see even these criminal elements that these kidnappers, why are they not tried? How many of these kidnappers have been charged to court and sentenced or punished in accordance to the laws of the land? Why is it that we see cases of kidnapping? How many of these kidnappers, terrorists have been apprehended, arrested, and dealt with to serve as a deterrence to others who are thinking that this is a lucrative business? When you have kidnappers, they kidnap A, B, C, and you pay them billions, you pay them a lot of money, you are making them understand that this is a way of life. These criminals become emboldened. They become so energized to continue with the atrocities and barbaric actions that is happening on a daily basis.
That's quite unfortunate. Again, my heart goes out to the people of Borno State, and I'm happy that this time around the security forces, the army, were able to withstand the attack and then ensure that, you know, somewhat safety is being brought to the people of Borno State. I'm sure if they should hear this, it will give them some sort of assurance that the federal government and our security operatives are doing everything in their power to ensure that those communities are safe. All right, in the meantime, let's move on to our next story. Senate has stated that it will complete the amendment of the 1999 Constitution to allow the creation of state police before the end of 2026. The Senate spokesperson Yemi Aderamodu told newsmen on Friday that the upper chamber would immediately resume work on the constitutional review once plenary reconvenes next week. This follows President Bola Tinubu's request to the National Assembly to begin the process of amending the Constitution to incorporate state police as part of efforts to tackle the nation's insecurity challenges. Speaking to the members of the Senate on Wednesday night during an interfaith breaking of fast at the presidential villa in Abuja, the president said what he was asking for that night is for them to start thinking on how best to amend the Constitution to incorporate the state police to secure our nation. Tinubu, while addressing members of the House of Representatives on Friday, urged them to ensure that the proposed constitutional amendment for the creation of the state police includes safeguards against potential abuse by governors. And I think that is what most people fear. Even now, though the security forces and operatives are in the hands of the federal government is still being abused by people of influence and power. Let's not even talk about governors or who knows. Even if you have the means, if you have the influence, you don't even have to hold a political position or office. As long as you have the means and influence, you can, take or make use of our security operatives. We've seen individuals who chatham up polls. You see them with like 4, 5 police officers, some even with army personnel, for private individuals. Meanwhile, we have hot communities that need adequate security, and then we complain of manpower or using manpower deficit as an excuse. Do you think that, first of all, my question is this, do you think that state police is actually needed to get rid of our insecurity problems in Nigeria? And also, do you see a way by which it can be made, or policies that can help prevent the abuse of the state police? Mr. Dema.
When you have a foundation issue, you don't go about putting more structures. When you have a structural defect, you address that structural defect, you correct the structure. Whether you call it state police, whatever name you want to brand it, whatever design you want to design it, anyhow you want to design it, the reality is we must ask ourselves, how well are we managing the police federally before we start talking about state police? What are the challenges that is affecting the service delivery of our police officers? Have we addressed the issues of welfare packages for these policemen? Have we addressed the issues of their health care and insurance? Most of them are risking their lives, fighting criminals, fighting kidnappers, protecting the lives of citizens of this country. Of course, there are bad eggs. There are bad eggs in every sector. There are bad eggs in the educational space, in the health space, in the industries, in government, in the private sector. There are bad eggs everywhere. There are bad eggs in the police force as well. The ones that have turned the police force to their milking machine, like a milking factory where you milk. Every time they look at a young guy, they see a young guy driving a very nice car, they are thinking what runs through the brain is, how do we milk this person? They are bad eggs. But the reality is there are also good people. There are diligent people. There are good police officers. There are good security officers. These men and women risk their lives, putting their energy, their best, everything, putting everything, their intellect, everything to protect lives. Imagine a country like Nigeria without the police. So when we talk about state police, we must address the underlying issues that have lingered for a very long time. One of such issues is training. The world has gone beyond just taking statements. When you go and say, who do you suspect? You have lost, they vandalized your vehicle, or they've stolen something, your generator, and then some policeman is asking you, do you suspect neighbor A? So these are issues. One of such is training. Train these police officers. Before you talk about state police, are you going to import the people from another planet? The people who will man the state police, will they be coming from a different planet, from Mars, from Jupiter, from Pluto? They are Nigerians. So when you have not addressed the underlying issues that is currently on, that is raging, the fire, the bush is on fire, you've not quenched it, you're talking about another method. It's not about new methods, it's about improving on what you have. Until we have addressed these issues, then we can start talking about state police. Because it's not about just having the state police without addressing lingering issues that have confronted the police service delivery for a very long time. Issues of training, issues of retraining, issues of welfare packages, issues of their health and insurance, issues of technology, issues of intelligence gathering, issues of fishing out the bad eggs, a lot of them, the bad eggs in the system that have made the progress an advancement of the police, stalled, that have made the progress of the police hindered. You take off these bad eggs, you sanitize the system. So you have professionals travel to Israel, travel to Canada, look at their police officers, travel to the United Kingdom, look at their police officers. Professionalism, service delivery, not collecting money on the road. Professionalism. Look at their uniform. Even when you see a police officer, you have encouraged, because they are professionals. If I happen to be in the police, one of the things I think I need to work, even their uniforms must have to be changed, upgraded from time to time. Change the uniform, but you can change the uniform. If you have not changed the uniform of the mind, you're wasting your time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dayman. Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Joash Amopitan-San, has pledged that the 2027 general elections will be the best in Nigeria's history, citing sweeping reforms introduced by the Electoral Act 2026. Speaking at a citizens' town hall meeting themed "What it means for your vote and the 2027 elections," organized by the Civil Society Network on Electoral Integrity, the INEC chairman described the new law as a major step toward restoring public trust, enhancing transparency, and strengthening democratic legitimacy. The Electoral Act 2026, signed into law on February 18th, followed a 3-year consultative process involving the National Assembly, civil society organizations, and INEC. Amopitan commended advocacy groups for helping citizens understand the provisions of the law, describing civic engagement as essential to democratic consolidation. Addressing concerns over the technical issues that affected the 2023 presidential election results transmission, Amopitan assured Nigerians that lessons have been learned. I know you don't really like to dabble too much into politics, so pardon me for putting you on the hot seat concerning this one. But
it's fine. I think it's fine.
Yes, I mean, this is actually a public interest.
Yes.
2027 elections, the people are clamoring for transparency. They want to know that their votes counts. Prior to the last election, 2023 elections, most people had given up on the electoral process of Nigeria. They believe that, look, I cannot go and queue in for hours, leaving behind my job, my responsibilities, and important things I'm supposed to do. Just because I want to vote in the right candidate, a candidate I feel is capable of representing my needs, okay? And then at the end of the day, due to corruption, due to certain unpleasant activities, the people do not get the end, the dividends of their democracy. They've lost hope and trust in the electoral process. But Amopitan is saying that they've learned their lessons from the past elections, right? And also considering the 2026 electoral amendments, that things will be different. And then come 2027, we will have the best elections yet. Mr. Dayman, do you actually foresee that happening?
What I will say is that simply because you have a constitutional amendment on electoral reforms or on the elections, if you don't have a mental amendment, you're not going to achieve any electoral reform. Because beyond INEC, they are the major players because they are the umpire. A football match, Arsenal and Chelsea. These are two teams, Arsenal, Chelsea. You are the referee. You as the referee, you should not be biased. You should not be looking at team A and then all your structure is to favor team A. You should not be looking at team B and all your structure is to make it difficult for team B to perform. There should be a level playing ground. It should be fair. It should be a fair contest. It should be a contest of ideas. It should be a contest of what these people can do. Their track record should be on full display to the citizens, to want to buy into their candidacy, to vote for them. But the reality is that, let's put INEC as specimen A. Let's look at other specimens. Let's take the electoral process into the laboratory. And as a scientist, when you have taken it into the laboratory, look at other specimens, the people. Now, if you want to, if the INEC is saying yes, the 2027 election is going to be much better, and that we have learned lessons, they just conducted elections in the Federal Capital Territory in Abuja, and the signs, the elements are still showing their heads, those spots, just like you have a acne or pimple. You discover that you woke up in the morning and you're still seeing the pimples and the acne. Your body is telling you that something is wrong with you, because those pimples are not just, they're not just springing up. You know, there are some workings in your system that is allowing those pimples to spring up or to grow out of your body, or to start rising. So one of the things is the people. You can have a legislation, or you can have an amendment to improve the electoral system, but until there is an amendment in the mindset of Nigerians, forget about hope. Someone once said that hope is not a strategy. We hope things will get better. 2027, we heard about that in 2007 elections. We've heard about that in past elections. The umpires will always say the next election will be better. What structure have you put in place to make it better? What lessons have you truly learned? Late delivery of electoral materials. Before these electoral materials get to the polling centers, sometimes it is deliberate or not deliberate. I can't tell. I'm not there. But it is a problem that should be corrected. Late delivery of electoral materials. The second very delicate process is during the collation. At the polling booths, once the people cast their votes, the results should be announced to the people. They should know who the winners are. Not that somebody will pick up a result sheet and party A scored 2. You now add 2 more zeros to make it 200. And you'll be seeing a lot of messed up result sheets. Even why are those people not prosecuted? Those people who are manipulating the electoral process. And you talk about vote buying and vote selling. The buyer and the seller. It is a conditioning process. It's a conditioning. Nigerians have been kept in poverty for a very long time, that they have been conditioned to what I call the bread and crumbs strategy. If you read one of my articles I wrote, I titled it The Politician's Playbook. Part of the Politician's Playbook, one of their strategy is to ensure that the people are kept in mental and physical poverty for a very long time. A long-term economic abuse conditions the people to a survival mood. So when they have been conditioned and structured to a survival mood, they will be willing to sell their votes for 5,000 naira. They don't care, because they just want to survive for that day. So it's a part of the politician's playbook. And we can't continue like this if we're talking about 2027 is next year. Before you know it, we're in 2027. But I want to appeal to Nigerians, especially those that are waiting for a custard of rice to sell their votes. So when we say whether you vote or not, what will be will be. The reality is that if we all stand to say we want the system to work, it will work. If we all stand to say we are fed up of these politicians abusing us, putting us in a state of modern slavery, we want to free our mind, we want to break free from the chains of mental slavery, we want to stand for our right, we want to stand for our political identity, we want to make sure that these failed politicians don't come back to power and continue to steal and plunder and abuse and exploit and extort us. Then you, as a citizen, go and get your voter's card, register to vote, be there. Don't sit back and lose hope.
Okay.
Right.
All right. I love this. Anyway, former presidential candidate of Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, has issued a stern warning to political leaders, criticizing the focus on the 2027 elections while violence continues to devastate communities across Nigeria. In a statement shared on his official X handle, Obi highlighted the alarming scale of insecurity in the country. He noted that in the first 2 months of 2026 alone, over 1,000 Nigerians have reportedly been killed, with several thousands more abducted in violent attacks. He described the situation as worse than in other countries officially at war and lamented the disparity between public discourse on politics and the urgent need to address the bloodshed. Obi criticized political actors for prioritizing party structures, zoning formulas, and campaign strategies over the lives of citizens. I mean, what actually spoke to me in Peter Obi's statement is where he stated that more people are dying in Nigeria than in unofficially declared war countries. I mean, during the Ukraine-Russian war, I don't think they've lost the number of people that we have lost in Nigeria. Recently, Israel and US are attacking, Iran and whatnot. The numbers that were accounted for, the number of people that were accounted to have died from this war zone countries cannot even be compared to Nigeria, that is supposedly a safe country. It's supposedly war-free. Is Peter Obi right in stating that our politicians are prioritizing 2027 elections than the welfare of the people? And what can be done about it? Are the people not demanding enough? Are they allowing these politicians take them for granted? Because yes, we have to there's time for politics and there's time for governance. The only reason why you are in power is because the people gave you the mandate to represent their needs, to ensure their safety, to ensure that they have food on their table, they are safe in whatever they are doing, policies that would make their lives better. But are these politicians delivering their end of the bargain?
When you look at the leadership structure and you look at the leadership space, we have more politicians than leaders. The politician he has all the political skills to market, manipulate, build consensus, and win people over to his side to pursue his political interests. So we have more politicians than those who understand leadership. We have less leaders and more politicians. Because you've been given 4 years. If you understand what leadership is, you understand that even good leadership is part of the politics. Good leadership is a selling ticket for you. Good leadership is marketing your product. What is your product? As a leader, you have a product. If all you do is politics, 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 you are missing out from the big picture. The big picture is not that you spend the people didn't elect you to spend all your 4 years just politicking. They want good roads. In fact, we are talking about roads. Other countries are talking about technology, AI. They are trying to train their young people on the next hot products in the market, innovative products that will sell. They are training their young generation to become pioneers of the next industrial revolution that will transform the world. They are empowering their young minds to be creative, to stretch the elasticity of their mind. But all our leaders are talking about is politics, 2027, politics, politics, politics. Yes, you must be involved in politics. But if all you can offer is politics, you're not a leader. You are at best a glorified politician. And we have a lot of these glorified politicians who can brag that they can build consensus, who can brag that they can win everybody to their side, but have little to offer. When you talk about their governance knowledge, very little. If you just like a politics and politicking, he has distinction. Governance, he has an F9, because he doesn't lack, he lacks the ideas, and he doesn't want to give room to ideas. He doesn't want to give room to that kind of leadership. So why should you be talking about 2027? What is your scorecard? What have you achieved in the health sector? What have you achieved in reducing unemployment? What have you achieved in reducing kidnappings and banditry? What have you achieved in improving the infrastructure of the people? What have you improved in terms of the in governance? So these are the questions that should be asked. So we have more of politicians and less leaders. That's why, like myself, I am involved with a lot of leadership programs and trainings. Leadership is not so much about talking about it. Leadership involves followership. Because if you want to be a good leader, you must be a good follower. And if you are a good follower, you have to be a good learner. And if you are a good learner, it has to be visible. You cannot tell someone, I am a good learner, and there's no visibility in what you are learning. There's no productivity in what you're learning. There's no replicating what you are learning. There's no multiplying what you're learning. Then you're not a good leader.
Okay. Still on the 2027 general elections. As Nigeria inches towards the 2027 general elections, political rhetoric is rising, but policy depth appears scarce. In an interview with newsmen, former president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Dr. Olisa Agbakoba's son, dissects the nation's fiscal crisis, oil sovereignty, electoral reform, insecurity, and the shallow nature of partisan politics. He argues that Nigerians' problems are less about scarcity of resources and more about poor architecture, fiscal, legal, and institutional. There has been controversy over the president's executive order and its relationship with the Petroleum Industry Act. He's also asked, can executive order override an act of the National Assembly? So, he also stated that the Attorney General should approach the court for constitutional interpretation. The issue straightforward. To what extent are certain provisions of the Petroleum Industry Act, especially those affecting revenue, consistent with Section 44, subsection 3 of the Constitutions? Can courts settle that quickly as well? Also, the National Assembly can amend the PIA to remove ambiguities, particularly regarding the role of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPC. I mean, he's spoken a lot about so many things, including the Petroleum Industry Act and what's not. But I'm particularly concerned about the policies and infrastructure. 2027 is coming. Like he rightfully pointed out, the politicians are more interested in campaigning. The people are not even asking them about the policies on which they are supposed to be voted for. It's going to affect the people. Also, it's going to be loss of resources, because lots of resources are put into these structures. Last weekend, I had an analyst here. We were talking about the payments of the NEL fund, the payments of loans for students and what's not. And he was trying to, in a way, campaign for this administration because it's their baby, it's their policy, one of their policies. And I'm saying that in a rightful thinking society, if somebody or a party brings in a good policies, is it right for us to tear it down just because we want to feel or look better than the next party, Mr. Dama?
I believe that when you can have sustainability, but sustainability will require leadership. While we have a lot of leaders, I won't call leaders, we have a lot of politicians in government positions that fail to sustain good policies for the people, is because they put themselves above the people. When you put the people above yourself, you see policies that will help improve the lives of the people. Because if we can take a line from Abraham Lincoln's definition of democracy, he said it's the government of the people. So a policy should be
about the people, sustaining it because you understand that it is for the people. So a people policy driven mandates will sustain good policies.
Okay. And then in the part where he mentioned that the people, they are not asking these politicians the policies. Look at the policies and vote for them. We do not do that here in Nigeria. What do you have to say concerning that one as well?
It has to do with awareness. How many people are aware of the petroleum industry bill in Nigeria today? So the awareness level is very poor, and that's why I'm very happy for media organizations like this that is helping to enlighten the people, that is helping to educate the people, that is helping to equip the people with the right knowledge, because awareness is important. If you are not aware, you will lose track of your rights. If you are not aware, you will become, you will lose opportunities, and opportunities will pass you by. So we need more awareness.
Okay, we need more awareness as a people. Thank you very much, Mr. Deima.
Thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure. This is where we wrap it up on this episode of Blowout. We are open for advert placements, bookings, and commercials. You can also connect with us on all our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok at Atlantic TV Network 1, on X at Atlantic TV Net. Also watch us live on our website www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Remember, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Open Conversation comes up shortly. Please don't go away. Thank you for watching. I am Antonia Asabil.
The board, management, and staff of Morrison Media Group presents the 2026 Anniversary Celebration Lecture of Morrison Media Group. Theme: Media's role in shaping social change, addressing inequities, and empowering voices. Chairman Alex Ndudi Enebele, FSM, President, Institute of Strategic Management of Nigeria, Chartered. Keynote speaker, Professor Armstrong Idachaba, Professor of Media and Broadcasting Communication. Panelist, Professor Chris Ochonogo, Immediate Past Head of Department, Journalism and Media Studies, University of Port Harcourt. Dr. Ijoma Tobosia, Secretary, NUJ, River State. Dr. Sarah Joe, University Orator and Associate Dean, Faculty of Communication and Media, River State University, Port Harcourt. Dr. Ibiere Koki, Ignatius Aju University of Education, Rumolomini, Port Harcourt. Chief host, Dr. Chinyere Igwe, Esquire, Chairman, Morrison Group. Date: Tuesday, 10th March 2026. Venue: Gate Place Hotel, Kilometer 5, East West Road, adjacent Obirikwere Flyover, Rumosi, Port Harcourt. Time: 10 a.m. For more information, please call Kainde Paul Obofade 081-063-41777 or Samuel Ajinwo at 090-454-00744. Signed,